Hello, everyone, and welcome to the second half of our episode 10 of Orizon Homecoming. Let's see if we actually make it home.
Well, so far.
Too soon.
Alright, so if you haven't watched part 1, then you don't know what's going on and why there's a boat in a tree, but...
Watch part 1 is basically what he said.
Exactly. So, Patan is unconscious. Yuzet is like holding on to her ankle, kind of keeping her from falling off the edge of the railing. That's kind of the angle. It's on the screen currently, kind of tilted, sort of slightly downward with vines keeping it suspended as far as you can tell. And Raldir's signet ring is glowing a vibrant green.
Well, now wouldn't be the time. Well, now how do you suppose we get down? I'm gonna say still kind of latched onto the grate.
Well, first thing, is everyone okay?
You see Yizet holding on to the unconscious, hanging essentially over the edge, Patan.
Is she over the edge?
She's hanging over the edge. If you weren't holding her, she would have definitely fallen to her death.
Right. I'm gonna pull her back on the deck.
Make an athletics check.
My pleasure.
My use it.
I was gonna say, is it
Quietly
special
asking
thing?
to not draw.
My
Oh,
eh.
10.
And okay. So it's a slow process since you're kind of still holding on with one arm to kind of keep your balance, and you're kind of essentially you're hoisting upwards and then grabbing onto a further like down part of her ankle and kind of making your way up. And it's terrifying to watch because if he accidentally messes up the catch, he could drop her.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
So
Okay. Well,
up until you get up to around the thigh section and you can't up anymore, but she's no longer over the edge.
Is she up against like a railing or anything?
Essentially,
Is she in danger of falling?
yes, still.
Yeah. Well, I'm just gonna maintain this position then. But I am gonna look over at Grafford and like I don't know, what would you call an alligator thing? A bark? A bellow?
A bellow.
bellow,
Bella.
Yeah.
roar.
Yeah, I'll just bellow quietly.
So yeah,
So she's on the ship?
almost. I'll try my best to illustrate.
Oh boy. Here we go.
Jeez.
So before she was like this, right? Like hanging off of it, but
Mm-hmm.
now get rid of that. Right about there. Not so much that you could kind of lay her on the ship at the angle that it currently is. But not in as much danger as before.
So is like her head still hanging off?
Well, no part of her is still hanging off, but if you
Okay.
let go, it will definitely fall.
This is
Let's
kind
go
of
ahead and I think
Go
I'll just
ahead.
cure wounds her. Pretty
Okay.
sure I do not have it. Oh, yeah, I'm just gonna hit her up with a cure wounds. Plus my spellcasting modifier is, let's see, 1d8. Oh, I should. That's 9.
Okay. Is a 9 enough to put you back over your negative? Baton?
Almost. I'm at -1 right now.
Not enough.
All right, shot in the dark here. How much control do I have over my jaws?
What are you attempting to do?
Very gently place her in them and like scurry climb my way toward the door to the inside.
We'll say for the sake of this, just make a straight dexterity check because you're just trying to place her in a specific way.
All right, boys. Here comes a +0.
Can't believe in you.
12.
You have to bite down a little bit harder to keep her from moving out, so she's gonna take your bite damage.
Oh, jeez.
Yes.
Uh-oh.
Yes.
Now, would that be with the strength modifier or just the pure bite?
Just the pure bite.
Oh, so just 4.
Okay. I should have just given her the healing draught.
Okay, so where exactly were you taking her by biting her?
Inside.
Inside. I'm gonna follow behind, and I'm gonna. I guess I'm gonna try using Cure Wounds on her. I guess.
It's a D8. We don't
Yeah.
get much more than that, buddy.
D8 plus spellcasting ability.
Yeah,
modifier,
plus int.
Yeah, plus int. Hold on, wait.
Everybody else is going to need to make a dexterity check to try and climb over to that side of the ship to get to her before you do anything.
Okay.
Okay.
Dex check, you said?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just go ahead and throw that.
Bada
18.
bing, bada boom.
Whoa.
11.
So you have the grate to kind of help you, so it's kind of like climbing a net almost. So you're able to shimmy over, but once you run out of grate, it gets a little difficult. But you all managed to make your way down into the lower deck where you're able to actually stand up. So now you can throw your Cure Wounds.
All right.
If you would have rolled any lower, it would have been like all those times. Help! I'm slipping!
Okay, so that's a 5.
Which I don't think is enough to get her over her negative after she
No,
had to take
that's,
damage from that bite.
I'm at 0.
Yeah.
Wait.
She's breathing.
Okay.
That's
She's
it.
breathing, but I'm guessing she's still in bad shape.
Yeah. She got her forehead is getting pretty swollen.
I'm just gonna give her the healing draught.
That's seeing him offering. I'm gonna wave him away, and I'll just use Healing Hands.
Okay. So you bring her up, and slowly you regain consciousness. After seeing the terrifying view of crashing down into the canopy, you are now instead met with the view of the lower deck of the ship, Piton.
And you are still in Yizik's
And
mouth.
Really? I thought you were going to set her on the ground. I said you could stand.
Oh, no, he's on all fours. He's still holding her.
Oh, okay.
Lord.
So, the first thing you see is Raldir doing some sort of spell and pulling his hands sort of away from you as you gain consciousness. And then you realize you're inside. Like, essentially a majority of your torso is inside of Yizit's mouth.
Are we gonna freak out because it's just a quick question?
What?
Once she's
Am I gonna like freak out seeing how I'm in an alligator's jaws?
That's up to you. I don't.
That would be extremely unnerving.
Well, seeing how I don't quite see this, I'm just gonna stay calm for now. Wait,
Once
how?
she's-
So I'm at 1 hit point right now.
If you wanted to pump the whole healing hands,
I'm gonna give it a little. I'm just gonna think.
yeah, you're at 1 then.
once she's
I'll
awake in
tap
her.
her.
Go ahead.
Uh-huh.
Sorry.
I was gonna say I'll just tap her right on her swollen head.
Boop.
Think.
Boop.
It hurts.
Oh,
Once she's
Ouch.
awake and her eyes are open, I'm just gonna kind of like bleh her onto the floor.
Oh,
All half slimy.
Not really. I mean,
I don't know, because I mean she was just literally in a mouth.
Yeah, but he keeps it open a lot of the time. There's
it's
Been
pretty
been
dry.
Pretty dry. What is it? But yeah, when I see her waking up, I'm just gonna give her a nice wakey, sleepyhead. I'm gonna give her a little wave.
what happened? I'm gonna rub my head where it was once swollen.
It hurts to the touch. Like it is really big bump.
Jeez.
drink this. This will help you out.
Healing.
Yizit has lost interest and he's going into his room to get suited up.
Okay.
I mean, oh yeah, Yizit was naked this whole time.
What?
Well, he's got a loincloth, I assume.
Nope.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I was
I
gonna
mean,
say
it's
he's
not like
just,
he has genitalia,
well,
like in the
to be
traditional
fair,
sense. So,
Yeah, I'm gonna hand her the healing draught. Healing.
I will gladly accept it. Also, the perks of being my class, am I right?
Hmm?
The perks of being my class, you get all the healing.
I need healing.
No. Alright, so I'll gladly accept the healing draught.
throw the drop.
The draught!
Whoa, heyo.
That's basically almost half. Well, that
Yeah,
is half.
15.
15.
Enjoy those 15 HP back.
More than
The
that.
swelling
now I'm
starts
gonna-
to go down as the liquid kind of slides down your throat. You begin to feel slightly reinvigorated, but definitely not at 100%.
Thank you. I'm
After-
feeling a little better.
Glad to hear.
After that whole ordeal, I'm gonna look to Grafford. I'm gonna say, so now there's the problem of getting us down.
Do I see that his ring is glowing?
It's like a flashlight.
Yeah.
Like a road flare.
Hey, Raldir,
Yeah.
what's up with your ring?
Oh, I almost forgot. I'm gonna give myself a little slap on the head. Okay, so there's something with this forest. So there's a druid that kind of keeps this forest safe.
Can you speak
No.
up? Like, it's not like you're trying to keep your voice down for people listening in.
Yeah, no, I know. I'm a quiet talker, but I'll try to speak louder, I guess. Okay, so there's a druid that keeps this forest safe. And he does something with the trees where they kind of shift, just to make unwanted visitors kind of get lost, And so anyone in a radius around me will be like negated from seeing this effect. And so that's just I kind of like I don't like wave my hand, but I do like I wiggle my fingers a little on the hand with the ring. And that is why that is glowing.
Hmm.
Under my breath, I'm gonna say, I think.
Okay. Can he somehow help us out of here? I don't think any of us want to fall another good few feet
I don't know him myself. I know of him, but I don't like know him personally.
All right. Well, we've got to find a way to either A, get the ship back up there, but in this weather, that's not looking like an option, or B,
No.
find a way down and cut the ship loose. Neither of those options sound very appealing.
I feel like finding a way down is the most important thing. Cutting it down would definitely, we could get some help with that, but just as long as we get to the ground safely.
How far did you say we were from the ground areas?
About 60 feet.
I might have an option. I may be able to help us. Hold on. I might be able to help us with that.
How do you figure?
Oh, I'm gonna slap myself on the face. I think I can too.
How do you both figure?
You do have a spell that I could cast on someone who can fly us all down at once, maybe.
I was gonna say, I can get wings.
I've seen that. Well, if worst comes to worst, you fly down and get us some help. But might as well try both of our options.
You're small enough. I could probably carry you. Probably. I mean, I did carry you before.
That I am.
As you're talking about carrying people, Yizit has exited fully equipped.
And very soggy. He
Oh.
keeps his stuff in the water.
Quick question, Aries. I'm able to, wait, do I have any sort of cool form?
Any sort
No.
of what?
What else? Wait. So, because I'm Asmir, I also have a similar form like Raldir, right?
We'll get into that at another point.
Okay. So that's not an option.
Another thing about the boat is that there is lots of rope everywhere. About 300 feet of it altogether.
Oh.
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 I also think I have some rope in my tensions pack.
I was gonna say, we
Yeah.
could just climb down.
Yizit has like 100 feet of rope just on his person.
Yeah.
I'm just a little too scared to climb down the rope, though.
That's fair. It's a big drop. If you slip, you basically die.
Yes.
Can I go ahead and go into the ship's supplies and
They're all
pull
around
out
you right now.
Yeah.
I'm gonna need you to make an investigation check since everything got tossed and turned around and nothing where it used to be.
Yeah, that's fair. That's a 26.
Yeah, you find it. It's just a
Do you think I
huge
could-
coil of rope.
Okay. I was gonna say, do you think I can like fashion out a really crude like rope ladder?
Make a dexterity check.
Yeah, 4.
You make one, and you use a majority of the rope trying to, and you test it, and it immediately falls apart.
All right, Yizit's watching this, and he's just going to clump past and go back outside.
Okay. So at the angle that the ship is, you kind of you can't really use the stairs all too well, so you kind of just like climb upwards sideways.
That's fine.
Hmm.
But I'd like to go to the railing where Patan was and look down.
It's about 60 feet. And there are several branches kind of leading all the way down for 20 feet of it.
Wait, hold on. How much damage do you take for falling?
1d6 per 5.
Per 5. Oh.
Up to terminal velocity, yeah.
That's risky. That's risky. I did have an idea.
Well, we've got rope. We'll take the rope for now. Sorry. We've got rope. We had rope. Well, I use the majority, right? And we had.
Well, it doesn't get used up. It's just like you tried to tie knots, but the knots came apart.
The tots are knots, and knots are tots.
Jeez.
Yeah. I'm gonna go outside with the rope.
I swear, I speak in this language.
Seriously.
Yeah, less Dexy as the language.
All right. I'd like to look at Grafford when he comes out. Is he coming next to me?
He comes out a couple minutes later.
It's a lot of rope, man.
Yeah. Yizit's kind of like one eyeball on him and one on the ground.
Ugh.
And he's going to hold out his big old gator paw and just be like, tied to you, I lower.
Huh. I didn't think this would be happening. All right. I'll go ahead and hand him the rope and just kind of stand arms up like I'm getting robbed.
Jeez.
Pat it down. The answer.
All right. I
Can
would
I,
like to. Go ahead.
Can I use fly on myself once everyone's down and head on down as well?
You use what on yourself?
Fly.
Fly.
Yeah, you can.
I don't know why you didn't use it on Yizit so we could just carry you.
Oh, that could work as well. I mean, that was my original plan.
The plan has been said, therefore it shall happen.
Yeah, I'm getting lowered down via rope.
Who's tying the knot?
I feel like Raldir should, because he seems more like a Boy Scout.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, I'll tie the knot.
Yizit's just wrapping it around him.
If
over
I
and over
if I
and
roll a
over.
20 and I'm forever known as the Boy Scout. To be fair, you're probably not wrong either. I mean, I spent a lot of the time in the forest.
I want
I'm
that
gonna
to
go
get
very last
clipped
though,
so
I can call
badly.
him a Boy Scout.
He seems the
Actually-
most like a Boy Scout.
Don't worry, it's forever in the YouTube videos.
Okay, so what do I gotta do to tie a knot?
Dexterity
Well-
check.
Dexterity check, okay.
Hold on, what are you
With
saying?
advantage?
Because you learned it
Hold
in
on,
Cub
no.
Scouts.
Alex, what are you saying?
I was going to ask if a shipboard background would let me tie knots. Like any proficiency in it.
Not really a proficiency, but you know your way around it. So I would rather give you advantage.
Okay.
I
see
know
how he
that
does.
seems better because it is.
I'll see how he does, and if he messes it up, I'll do it.
All right. Well, I learned about tying knots in Cub Scouts.
In Wood Elf School.
Well, that's a 7.
It looks shaky. It looks like it could give out at any moment as
I'm just gonna test the knot by pulling it.
it comes apart.
Yes, it's going to snatch it up, and he's going to do it.
Make a dex check with advantage.
13.
All right, it's pretty sturdy.
All of this sounds really shady.
I'm gonna
That's
tug
pretty
on
good.
it. Yeah, I'm gonna tug on it.
Feels pretty good.
All right. I'm going to loop. You said it's 300 feet, right?
Yeah.
His
the
rope
we have
is
here? Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm using.
yeah.
I'm going to loop it around the mast to get a little leverage and then be like standing up against the rail. Kind of. You mind if I draw it?
Well, I'd rather you describe for the people who just listen.
Okay. Kind of standing against the lower side of the rail. The rope is going to run up and over the mast and back down to Graffert. And he's going to have it coiled over his shoulder where he can let it go like one length at a time.
Okay.
And he's going to look over at Graffert and be like, hold,
Jump.
hold rope.
I'll do as he says.
All right. And then he's just going to wait
Wait for what?
for Grafford to get off the boat.
I'm gonna, seeing him getting ready for this, I'm gonna give Grafford a little salute and say, well, luck be with you, I guess.
Nice knowing you.
Yeah.
two finger salute, goes backwards, dies.
Looks away from Grafford, tears smearing down cheeks. I hardly knew him.
Heads back. It's
I'll
okay.
go ahead and go off the side of the ship, like holding onto the ropes with my holding on the ropes so tight that my knuckles are white.
Well, I'm not giving you a whole lot of slack yet, so you only drop like 3 feet.
Yeah.
I know, but I'm holding on to
You
these,
you
like,
you feel the weight on the end of the rope.
Okay. What do you weigh, Grafford? Like 20 pounds?
That's a feels bad.
Wow, that really got everybody except me.
No, I'll just go ahead and start lowering him down.
Okay, for this, make a dexterity check.
Not strength?
I'm gonna stand nearby.
Well, it's more like gauging the distance, because I'm more than certain with your strength stat, you can hold the rope. It's about letting it go and getting it at the right spot and like doing that action over and over.
4!
Uh-oh.
Ooh.
We'll add your proficiency bonus for this.
7.
7. And now I need Grafford to make an acrobatics check.
Oh boy.
acrobatics
Yeah.
or athletics.
Acrobatics. I know what I said.
Dun, dun, dun.
This is very dexterous kind of movement happening right now.
I mean,
17.
So it's smooth for a majority of it, but just before you hit the ground, like there's a huge kind of like like a like imagine it like going down really quickly.
Like a big jolt.
Yeah, like a really big jolt, and just as you're about to hit the ground, you get jerked up. Just
And I'm assuming it's like tied around my stomach.
yeah,
Just
but you're on the ground, 60 feet, and the jungle floor is teeming with insects and life everywhere.
I'm gonna go ahead and yell up. I made it down!
You don't hear anything.
Alright.
I'm gonna look to use it. I'm gonna give him a thumbs up because he did a good job.
I'm gonna on the floor, I'm gonna tug at the rope twice.
well, dude, you're next.
That means
You're
drop him.
next.
That means cut the rope.
How? Okay, how long can I fly again? I don't know why I don't have it written down.
A minute.
Minute. Okay, so would I be able to make it to the bottom?
Yeah, easy enough, but I don't know if you want to use your daily on that.
You know what? No, I don't. You know, I'll trust he is it. I'm gonna point to the rope, and I'm gonna then point back to me because I don't know how well Yizit can really communicate.
Yes, it's gonna like blink very slowly, and his mouth is gonna open, and he's gonna be like,
time.
he's gonna be like, "Do speak common."
I think he's reached the bottom. So I don't know how this is gonna go down. Are you gonna drop everybody, or is that just for Grafford?
Yizit's gonna turn and start, since the rope is at the bottom, he's gonna start tying it to the railing where he's at. That way there's like a rappel line all the way down.
Grafford being the weight.
Yep.
Oh
Jeez.
no.
Oh.
So this is what it's gonna look like. It's gonna be me at the bottom, just kind of looking around everywhere.
Wait, so it's gonna be pulled taut and you're gonna climb down?
That's what's going on.
That's what I'm thinking.
Okay, so make an athletics check, Reldir.
Hey, all right, here we go.
Here comes that upper body strength.
Oh boy.
You're a
That-
Cub Scout, don't worry.
Yeah, that's fair.
There's a Cub Scout right there.
Oh, roll a 20. Back in summer camp, I remember climbing ropes.
I remember when I got my Eagle Scout badge.
Call it out if the people haven't recognized what it is
Yeah,
yet.
20. What is it? I could just imagine Roldir with like big like braces and stuff, and like, hi everybody, my name is Roldir.
Well, I meant in this moment, I thought about it a little more gracefully. I was thinking like one of those ribbon dancers.
Oh, like with like the one leg out, just
Yeah.
like nice gracefully
Yes.
go
See?
down.
I told you around here was secretly a Boy Scout.
Jeez, of course.
So-
right after Yosh says, "Well, you're the Boy Scout," I roll a 20.
You land with a flourish at the bottom in a very extravagant way.
On Grafford's head.
Next to Grafford, because you can see Grafford at the bottom.
I mean, after all, I'm the anchor to this thing, apparently. Oh my god,
And-
what if he is it crushes me?
Baton is next.
Oh jeez, okay. time
You
to
cast
fly.
you cast fly on. You look at the whole rope mechanism, and you cast fly on yourself, and then just fly downwards. So from Yizit's point of view, you see her look over at the whole setup, and then she kind of pats herself twice on the chest, and then just begins to hover for a moment, and then her body just moves in the air and starts to go downward.
This is what I thought of when you said the motion. It's like the what 2 pounds on the chest and then the peace sign.
That's perfect.
Yo, I'm out. Fly. I do that all the time too, so that when it's close to home.
You know, when I hit the bottom, I was this close to saying, you know, I was in the town scouts growing up.
There's no such thing.
You were a
How
Boy
easy is
Scout.
it getting down?
Jump,
Jump, jump, jump, jump.
Dolphin
Rapper.
dive.
jump, jump.
Rapper, catch me.
Yes.
Oh,
No,
Oh yes.
He's gonna kind of shimmy over on the rail, grab it, and like tuck one loop under his leg so he can hold it with one hand kind of going sideways and one hand up, and he's just gonna like rappel down.
no, that's a crafty man.
Okay, just make an athletics check.
Respectable.
Gets a 0. Gets a
16.
16.
Okay. You make your way down, and now it's just a rope hanging there. You untie it from Grafford, and you are now all on the ground.
Success.
Well, after that whole ordeal, I'm gonna say, kind of like wiping my head.
Yeah, not the most graceful landing I've ever had, but
Well, I mean, speak for yourself. I'm gonna say, kind of looking up, kind of not to brag.
It was
I was
pretty
talking
easy.
about the ship.
Raldir, you hear the sound of running water.
Hmm. Okay.
What's that?
But yes, I'm going to say. Anyway, yes. I'd suggest staying close to me. I'd suggest, or else face the consequences of the druid.
Just gonna
And-
silently nod my head.
And I'm gonna say it exactly like that. Face the consequences. And I guess do I know where I am in relation?
No, but you hear the sound of rushing water.
I'm gonna go towards it.
So,
I'll follow.
Yep,
With-
moving as a group.
with Raldir taking the lead, you follow the sound of water, and to the rest of you, it sounds like it's really, really far away and in the other direction. But Raldir, as you continue walking forward, you eventually come to a point where the trees are kind of separating from each other, and you see a large rushing river at a sort of incline heading downwards, and you recognize the river.
Hey.
And to the rest of you guys, there's a raging, crashing river right in front of you, but it sounds like there's a river about 100 or so feet behind you, and it's like an auditory illusion. It throws you off, and it doesn't make sense. And as you follow the river, following Raldir, you kind of descend down this sort of slight incline, down a hill until you're kind of on a cliff that descends into a small kind of valley in a circular, in a huge sort of canyon almost. And as you look down, it's a huge clearing of grassy fields, save for a cluster of trees in the direct center of this huge circular valley.
So, Raldir, do you have any idea where we are?
Oh yes, I'm gonna point down to the trees, just right down there. That's where we need to get.
Okay.
Also, note, so the river does like run down there. I'm guessing there's like a waterfall.
Yes, it kind of crashes over onto a waterfall that comes into a small pool, and then continues off into another portion of a river.
Okay, now, in relation to said patch of trees, what does the river do? Is there like a fork?
Yes, there is a fork. It goes around the trees.
Good, that's what I'm looking for. So yes, for sure, I'm gonna point down there and say that's where we need to be. I'm 100% certain.
Okay. So, do you know of a safe way down this cliffside?
Oh, well, it's more like it's not like a sharp incline, it's a steady incline.
Oh, okay.
Oh, nice.
So we can just like kind of slide down.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can I like investigate the area just to make sure there's not like anything around that could potentially kill us?
Yeah, sure, go ahead. Make a perception check.
A what check?
Perception.
Well, 3 trust.
6.
Doesn't look like it. In fact, the scenery is quite breathtaking.
Lead the way.
Yeah, and I guess I'll start going down this steady incline.
So you travel for about half a day, making your way across the huge open plains that is this clearing, and you begin to approach the huge trees. And when I say huge trees, the width of it, like the diameter, is about 100 feet. And they're like, from a distance, they looked not that big, but now that you've traveled, they've been getting bigger and bigger as you've been getting closer and closer. And it's a huge ring of these massive trees. As you get closer to them, the signet ring begins to glow more brightly, and the light begins to be less transparent and more kind of defined.
Home.
So, what is this place?
This is home. I'm gonna say, kind of like spreading my arms out.
Radiate.
Just right in those trees.
Can I start running towards the trees?
Okay, it's a tree.
I'm gonna say, well, stay close, because illusions.
As you begin to barely leave about 10 feet from Raldir, the image of the tree in front of you begins to fade, and it starts to look back like the forest that you were in about 4 or so hours ago.
Huh?
Slowly, like it's like imagine like an opacity slider, just barely like going slowly, like flickering.
Huh?
Yeah, when she gets out of 10 feet, I'm just gonna try to catch up with her, so everyone
So-
stays.
As you move up closer, the tree begins to crack and break in several places. Splinters of wood flinging out and landing on the ground nearby, as before it wasn't so recognizable as the bark was kind of standing still. You begin to make out what looks like a face, like a humanoid face, the size of which is easily 3 units tall.
Jeez.
I'm gonna back up.
And you hear a bellowing voice as the lips begin to sort of creak open, and the sockets, which look like closed eyes, begin to glow with this sort of greenish, yellowish radiance. Welcome home, Lord Silverleaf.
I'm gonna calmly say, thank you.
And then the wood begins to creak and crack as it begins to essentially hollow itself out, being contorted and pulled separate to the side, and an archway begins to form out of the contorting wood. And ever so slightly, it looks like you could squeeze through for a moment a peek of what's inside as it begins to crack and pull further and further. And you are now gazing upon a city, completely concealed by the giant trees. A vibrant green and silver colors mixed around in all the architecture. Lots of life. There's the trees come up and around and form this sort of huge ring of foliage around the sky of the city, leading up into the overall top of it's essentially, think a cylinder, and if you're standing in that cylinder. Nature and city are sort of at blurred lines in this space. You can see vines wrapping around and running everywhere through the city, large roots, some even coiling around some buildings. Many trees, smaller, normal size compared to the huge ones around you, set around. You see hundreds and hundreds of elven figures walking around, and several guards, all adorned in this goldish decorated silver armor with many, many bits of this greenish metal all around it. And the pinnacle and sort of crown jewel of this view is a huge castle with 3 tall spires made entirely out of this sort of greenish marble that expand upwards to kind of crest around a 4th spire that comes up to a sort of rounded piece with large vines of ivy spiraling up each of the spires that are within a large wall with a large building underneath it supporting it, that are connected to the spires. It is breathtaking.
At this, I am again calmly going to kind of look to the party and with open arms, kind of pointing in, and I'm gonna say, "Well, this is home right here."
It's marvelous.
Simply beautiful.
And silence.
Can I start running in now?
No, I'm gonna go in first, just to be
As
safe.
you start to run in, you hear "Halt!" and 2 guards start to run towards you, and their hands start to begin to glow with a greenish color.
At seeing this, I'm gonna hold up the hand with the signet ring, and I'm gonna say, "Stop! Stop! Stop!"
They begin to cast. Let's see.
Oh, jeez.
They're gonna use vines to stop her.
Yes, I'm gonna need
Oh.
everybody except Raldir to make strength saving throws.
Ooh.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
Yes, it's fine.
11.
Baton, make a strength save.
13.
It's 15.
So
As a note, though, the vines wrap Yizit, and he just like turns to look where they came from, and they all snap.
So yeah, the vines begin to wrap around you, Yizit, and they seem to be sprouting up from the ground forcibly, from the grass underneath you, and they try to wrap around you, but you just essentially flex, and they immediately snap. Meanwhile, the other 2 are completely entangled as these vines wrap around your body, and each of the 3 guards who were casting another set of 2, so 4 more guards come from the back wielding weapons and charge Yizit. Another one grabs you, Reldia, the one whose spell failed on Yizit, grabs you by the shoulders and starts to pull you back.
I'm gonna like, no, stop, let me go, and let them go.
So the 4 that were in the back, 2 of them draw these huge bows made of wood, like this twisting oak wood. Imagine 2 branches intertwined along each other into the shape of a bow, with this sort of greenish sinew for the string, and they're pulling back arrows with sort of bulbous barbed green arrowheads.
Oh, jeez.
And then another 2 draw 2 what look like scimitars,
Oh, jeez.
where
like to
the crossbar has like this sort of ivy growing out of it into a handle with the silverish blade.
Yizit's gonna keep his hands down and just assume like the tripod, and just kind of look over at Raldir.
I'm still just gonna keep imploring with them. Stop! No weaponry. No, just stop trying to attack my
We will keep
friends.
you safe, Lord Silverleaf.
They are no danger to me.
And 2 shots.
Before it impacts, can I just look at Raldir like, oh my.
I'm gonna look at Grafford just with that kind of like, oh, jeez.
Can I freak the fuck out? I guess it's true what they say. Curiosity kills.
Seriously.
So a 21 and a 14.
14 doesn't hit me.
It's not hitting
21.
you. Both of them are
Oh.
going towards Yizit.
Only the,
Oh, thank God.
only the 21 hits.
Okay. I believe it is a D10 for a longbow.
Don't think so.
Or a D10 or a D8. Let me check that really quick. So what is everybody doing who isn't wrapped up besides pleading with them?
Yeah, I'm gonna. You know what? I'm gonna say something that I hope changes their mind.
Longbow is
attack
1d8.
If you attack anymore, I will tell the king.
I'll tell my dad.
That's how you do it, folks.
I'll tell the
Nice.
scout captain.
All right. I'll tell scout leader.
That's 3 points of piercing damage, and then the spell activates.
Well, I was gonna say my damage resist is 3.
Yeah, so it doesn't hurt you too much, but the spells like still attacks you with it.
Yeah, I will threaten them with telling the king.
You're being essentially muffled by the sounds of shuffling armor. People are scattering away in horror of what's going on.
Can I try to break free from these guards?
Yeah,
I'm
make
about to
a
yell.
athletics, or you're essentially grappled by this guard. That's you're restrained. So
jeez.
you can, before you try and break out, or
well,
but you don't. Well, I have to roll
yeah, I
against
know.
it, so maybe you do.
Come on.
Hopefully you do. Let's see.
Oh god, it's not rolling. There we go.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah. So 19. So actually, with mods, that's about 22.
Oh lord.
So no, he's holding you back while you're trying to fight him. And then so make another strength save. Use it.
Okay. You got this, use it.
At 10.
Yes, I restrained you. I didn't think it'd be possible
Oh lord.
with your +7 to saves and stuff. Jesus.
Well, he is in tripod,
Yeah.
so the vines just come up. He's not even
Tripod mode
flexing.
activated.
Well, they explode from the arrow, the vines, as they kind of spread across your body, and wrap around you and pin your arms to your sides.
Ooh, it's like
Yeah.
one of those net gun things.
Yeah,
But he's not fighting it. He's just looking at Raldir.
yeah. And the other shot kind of went wide and over your shoulder. As a woman or rather, girl, not quite a woman yet, in a green dress with silver lining, wearing a signet ring, and a beautiful kind of silvery leaf hairpin, walks up. Brother?
Sister, help!
Brother, the guards will keep you safe.
No, I don't need to be
Restrain
kept safe.
them!
No, these are my friends.
And another set of guards, 2 on either side, begin to... It takes 6 for Yizit. But they begin to push you away.
Oh no.
So I
Can I
can,
try to persuade him out of this? Like, can I try?
I can walk, or are they like carrying me?
They're carrying you.
Can I
Like,
just try to
soon as-
persuade them to stop?
that's why it takes 6 of them. They're like keeping you on the shoulder. Like, imagine like a casket, like people carrying a casket. It's like that.
It's like 3 people on either side.
Mhm.
As soon as they pick me up, Yizit just kind of looks left and right at the ones closest to his face.
Oh lord.
Oh my god.
It's terrifying.
I was gonna say, I feel like they're probably thinking, I don't get paid enough for this.
So the guard that was holding you immediately release him, and lets you go, and starts to walk alongside the other guards. The other guards who are maintaining the spell for the entanglement are walking along the back, but all the other guards, which is I think a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Yeah, so there's 3 on either side.
Am I getting footballed?
No, there's 2 people carrying you on the shoulder. One at the torso and one at the legs.
Okay.
Same thing with Hitan.
I'm just gonna.
Can I speak and try to like persuade these guys to like stop?
Yeah, sure. Why not? They've already picked you up, so you're gonna be walking for a good bit. So,
Hey, now I just see we're his friend. We came here because he needed to do business here. Do you mind letting us go now?
I'd like to-
It's the truth.
Give her advantage on that, and I'm gonna say, yes, these are just my friends. Please let them go.
he doesn't respond. Wait, you can make a persuasion check if you want.
That's a 21.
He doesn't respond.
What?
I feel like a little kid. Like I have to like stamp my foot. Like stop.
The funnier thing is that he's younger than you.
Yeah,
By a
I know,
good
and I have
bit.
to ask my little sister to help.
Please send help around here. I don't want to go with these random people.
I don't know what's going on either. I don't know why they're doing this.
Your sister is standing right next to you.
Why are they doing this? I'm gonna say, like, looking down to her.
This helps people introduce Azamar here. Let's see.
Brother, why have you brought outsiders into the city?
Well, I have to do official business, for a foreign power, I suppose. And,
Father
well,
isn't gonna like this.
These are just my party members. They all serve a purpose.
Please let me go. I didn't do anything wrong. I just didn't like it.
You brought a huge monster man into the city walls, and you expect to let him walk freely.
He's fine. I'm gonna say that, looking back, giving a thumbs up to Yizit.
So there's about like 35 or so feet between this, by the way. Like you're
I'm gonna like stick up my
back.
hand with
Can
a
I
nice thumb up.
So from a distance, you hear.
Can I try to get Jeffrey to like teeth his way through the vines?
Throw a d20, because I know what Jeffrey's stats are.
Go, Jeffrey, go.
Jeffrey, yes!
Oh lord!
Oh my
That's a
god.
20.
Natural 20.
Natural 20.
Like a fuzzy buzzsaw.
So Jeffrey begins to gnaw his way through the vines very slowly, as to just weaken them, not completely break them, just to the point where you could break them whenever you want.
Okay.
Yizit just likes being carried. This is a novel experience.
This is a new experience.
Happy times for Yizit.
I'm gonna go ahead and just look to the guard on my left and to the guard on my right. Just
There is
kinda
no
like,
guard on your right.
Oh, I thought I was getting carried by like arm in arm.
No. Everybody's being casketed in that same way.
Ah.
Okay, so so is there like any good like time I should do this, like when they're not really paying attention?
Let me see how many guards in total there are, because there was 4, 2, and 2. So there are 8 guards around the Silver Leaves. And then there are 6, 2, and 2, 10 around you guys, for a total of 18.
Yeah.
Oh lord.
I'm gonna look at the guard and I'm gonna ask, do you mind taking my goggles off? I've been seeing everything kind of weird. Everything's a little bit wavy.
Make a persuasion check.
It's I've been wearing them too long and they fogged over. It's a 9. I think
Silence.
it's just a straight 9. Hold on. Forgot to roll that. It's 11.
Silence.
Yizit would like to turn his head over to the guard at his right shoulder and just
Okay.
kind of like boop him with his snout and laugh.
You done booped him with the snoot, and he doesn't react at all. He is stoic and stone face.
Wow, our guards are awesome.
Well,
They're imagine like the what are they called, the National Guard, I think.
Yeah,
The ones with the big hats.
the Queen's Guard.
Yeah, the Queen's Guard.
Oh
And they just
my.
don't react.
They just don't react.
well, in
So
that case, I'm just gonna kind of like fidget around to get comfortable and lean my head back and close my eyes.
Okay.
Oh.
Go to
So
bed.
you are marching towards the castle. And the people that are in the way are dropping to their knees and kind of kneeling down, putting their heads down on either side, making like a clear path and you guys are kind of looking around, and you're seeing children kind of being hushed, putting hands, with mothers putting their hands over their children's mouths to keep them from saying anything, and it is dead silent, save for the sound of a nearby singular bird chirping.
Well, dear, I would like to go down now. I can walk myself.
I don't think I have any say in this matter. I'm gonna
Because
say,
you asked an ideal.
35 feet apart, you're yelling.
that's fine. You know. You know, I won't even yell. If she yells, I'm just gonna shrug.
Okay.
No, that's nice.
Like, well, I tried.
I'm gonna look down at Jeff. Is Jeffrey on my stomach right now?
Jeffrey is currently hiding in your shirt,
I'm just gonna look down at Jeffrey and I'm gonna tell him.
kind of
"We'll-
curled up
we'll be
against your
alright.
abdomen, shaking
We'll
in
be
fear.
alright. We'll be alright.
But going back to the topic of Yizit, because I do believe that was that was one of the main problems. I'm gonna like point back and I'm gonna say, he's just a little eccentric, you know. He has strange ideas, but he means well.
Brother, please. They're just doing their job and keeping us safe.
But Yizit is my personal bodyguard. He keeps me safe.
Yes, and now there are 18-ish guards keeping you safe. Much better than a monster man.
Yizit is definitely asleep.
God, my little sister, she's seriously like.
The people are very rude.
She wears the pants in this family, I suppose. Well, what about the others? I'm gonna say, pointing back again.
How do I know they're not forcing you to be here? How do I know that they're not here with the Phoenix?
Well, I guess you don't, and I guess you don't have any reason to not think that, I suppose. But I mean, I openly admit they are most definitely my friends. I've traveled with them for months.
And what proof do you have?
We are.
I'm your brother, and you should trust.
I
your brother.
trust you, but not them. That's why they're in ropes. What proof do you have that you know them and they're not just forcing you to say this? How do I know you're not under some sort of spell?
Oh, please, I'm too smart to be charmed.
You smart? No.
Yes, pretty smart. Yes, beat me in dragon's flesh.
Shut up.
Yes. Oh, just shut up. How dare you tell me kind of thing?
She snaps her fingers and now there's a ball of silence.
How close am I? Can I actually hear what's going on?
Not anymore. It's silence.
Well, was I first in the order of getting taken? Second, third?
Yeah,
I'm assuming Yizit's in
you're
the back.
first. Yizit was in the back.
If I may say something, we're from the Beholded Reserve, if that means anything.
It's silence. Like there is a ball of silence.
Oh, I thought it was only on her.
Nope. It is a ball of
Okay.
silence in that whole area.
So they can't hear Yizit snoring?
No.
Oh.
Well, I'm really trying to find some way out of this, but my little sister seems to be the one in charge here.
It's so nice to have you home, brother.
And it's so nice to be home after so long. I'm gonna say, kind of looking around at the surroundings. And how's the rest of the family? Are they all in good health?
Mother's been, well, you know how mother can be. And father's been in his study for a long time. Her face kind of goes from this commanding, intimidating force, as intimidating as a 12-year-old can be. To a sort of a little kid kind of looking up at you.
Well, yeah, that's father, all right. Also, are we almost at the castle? 'Cause
Yeah, pretty much.
I want to meet the rest of my family.
You're pretty much getting to the gates. The gates of the castle are being kind of pulled upwards as the impending march comes forward.
Yes, but I'm sure he will be excited to hear of my return. I hope, at least.
She turns to one of the guards and kind of points at him. You! Go announce our arrival. And he runs off ahead of the group.
A 12-year-old girl can command literally a 20-year-old.
Older, probably.
Older. And all these guards.
So he runs off in that direction. And then you see in the distance, like you see the two main doors for the entryway. You see the figure kind of talking to one of them, and then the doors open upwards, and you hear Vuvuzela's type, like the long trumpet, announcing the arrival. Announcing Lord Silverleaf returning home to Iron Grove. And you hear cheers and applause way behind you because there's the ball of silence.
Yeah.
And as the whole scene kind of enters past the gates, they like land. You hear the clanking of metallic chains being dropped suddenly, and it just lands with a heavy thud. And you begin to make your way in. There's the whole court. It's filled with people, both commoner, peasant, and you see a large silver throne made of this sort of white oak color, and a similar smaller throne to the right, whereupon you see father and mother. The first to stand is a woman in a light blue dress with silver lining similar to that of your sister. And she has this very, very kind of happiness, like happy tears kind of face on. And immediately the figure sitting on the larger throne with a crown made of these silvered vines with these intricately placed leaves running along it to a pinnacle, large leaf in the center of it, like above the forehead, bearing the crest of the city, stands up, and as soon as he does, it is dead silent in the room.
Okay, so how far away are we from them? Me, Papa.
You're about midway through the kind of long carpeting that runs up to the kind of steps that go up to the throne.
Okay.
So I would say about 25 feet away.
I mean, okay, but I will start to I'll start to kind of like bring my arms out nice and wide and be like, mother, father, kind of. It's been so long. Kind of. Like this is a family gathering. Like,
not everybody in the room is family. So
Yeah.
sister walks up and stands at the left seat of the father. And immediately a hand goes up from the king, and he does a long sweeping motion horizontally, and everybody in the room starts to clear out.
Ooh.
And it's at this point that everybody else is off the clock. The rest of this episode is for Raldir.
What? Oh.
Ooh.
The rest of you are
Alright.
being dragged away from the scene off into the courtyard, and then being dragged further as the full set of 18 guards comes with you and takes you to a dungeon.
Oh lord.
Right as soon as I was gonna make my grand escape. Dang.
So
Bye-bye.
everybody else, you're off the clock.
Good night, everybody.
As the room begins to clear out, all that remains is Birchwood, who never leaves the family side,
What a
dressed in a gold and black suit, mostly black with gold lining. Your father takes a few steps down. Welcome home, my son.
I wish it would be on better terms, that's for sure.
Do you bring me bad news?
Well, in my technological works, let's say I've made an opponent. I've made a rival.
We will
And,
discuss this further in private. But
yes.
first, come. We must celebrate. And he puts his arms out, and immediately your mother runs up to you. Raldir, it's so nice to have you home.
Yes, it's so nice to be home, and it's so good to see everybody.
Come, we must celebrate. We must celebrate. And all of you begin to shuffle over to the dining hall, a huge, long table that is completely empty, and you are being served full, like, 6-course meal over the course of this celebration. You sit at the right seat of your father and your mother across the table from you, and then your sister next to her, and it's just the four of you.
Mm.
And then Birchwood stands behind your father and to the right.
Cool.
And it is somewhat silent, save for your mother, who has always been the talkative of the bunch. Raldir, please tell us of where you've been. We've all been so worried.
Okay. Well, I went on a bit of a expedition, I guess, to a tomb type thing, a ruin, I guess.
Immediately, your little sister. Were there ghosts? Oh, I bet there were ghosts.
Yes, there were ghosts of sorts. So that whole thing kind of ended in a well, it didn't end well, but anyway, I'm here, I'm alive. And then with some of the
Wait.
members, huh?
Did you put yourself in danger?
I mean, nothing that I couldn't handle.
Did you see someone die? Your little sister pipes up. Laylee, that's hardly a question.
No one that I knew.
Oh dear.
It was only monstrous beings. It wasn't anything to be worried about.
Why were you sorting yourself with monstrous beings like that dreadful lizard man that you brought into the castle?
Oh, that's Yizit. He's a little eccentric, but he means well.
Birchwood, see if he's charmed or spelled or something horrendously horrible. Yes, of course. And Birchwood walks up to you, and he puts up a gloved hand and snaps his fingers, and this sort of greenish circle begins to appear over his hand, and he kind of brings it over your forehead, and he does not appear to be charmed. And then he takes his prior stance.
And the rest of the group, they all mean well.
Your father menacingly begins to slowly cut into a large slab of what you have been told is dragon flank.
Oh.
Very slowly and delicately. Very surgically, and it's unnerving every time you see.
Yeah, jeez.
And he looks up at you slowly. This lizard man that you bring to our home. Kind of picking one of the scales off of the meat.
Oh boy.
He holds it up and looks at it. Is a danger. Flicks it away.
Ooh. I mean, he hasn't done any harm to me yet, and I hope he wouldn't.
And then it's very uncomfortable silence for a moment. It took 6 gods to carry him. With a little bit of a shaky voice, you hear Laylee.
Oh.
And then, by the way, the 2 women are, well, woman and the girl, are looking down at their plates, not looking up anymore.
Oh.
Yes, that was quite intimidating.
Well, if I could explain myself, he's like a pet. He doesn't mean bad, you know. Sometimes things just happen. He's like a dog.
And what of the other 2?
Well, the old man, he's the pilot that got us here. I'm very grateful for that, because I don't know how to pilot ships very well myself.
We heard
and
reports from scouts that an airship crashed into our jungles.
Yes, there was a typhoon coming, because, you know, it's that time of year.
So this man found it fit to crash the airship carrying my son, potentially killing him.
We had no choice. I don't pin it on him.
Should have found a more skilled pilot. Flinging off another scale.
And I'll just be looking down at my plate at this point. And the girl, that's She's a friend that I met. She's like me. I say, pointing to my skin and then to my hair.
Laylee immediately pipes up. I bet she's your girlfriend too.
I'm just gonna ignore her with a sigh.
You see, your mother shoot Laylee a small look. And she immediately shuts up.
So yeah, that's I mean, she's one of me. So I mean, like, I was told to talk to her originally to see what was going on with all of this. I say, kind of scratching my head a little.
How do you know you weren't followed?
Well, I suppose I don't. Um, but I do believe the protection around the city is well enough to keep out intruders. I mean, the girl tried running into the city, and right when she ran outside of the radius of the ring, she she was almost put right back into, well, the situation that anyone else would be put into, just lost.
Father stands up immediately, abruptly. Walk with me. And immediately turns around and starts to walk.
Okay, I say, quickly putting in my chair under the table and start following him.
Son, in your absence there has been troubling times. And we are in danger.
Oh no. What kind of danger are we talking about?
Have you heard of the Phoenix?
I can't say I have offhand.
Suddenly, you're walking through a hallway, and there's a door on the side that flings open, and it's a scout. And he looks rather ragged. He's sweating, and is covered in blood. He runs up. Lord Silverleaf! Lord Silverleaf! There was an attack on... And he's just collapses.
Oh. Oh, Lord.
And two other guards come in that are just like the city guard and pick him up and haul him outside and close the door. There is a rebellion forming against Arngrove. We don't know much. What we do know is that they're led by a woman named the Phoenix. And I have a feeling they were following you. Our scouts have told us that they have the ability to turn themselves away from the naked eye. And they know how to get here. Do you have any idea what kind of danger that could be? An unseeable enemy.
Yes. Well, that definitely has to be addressed now before it gets any worse.
One of my advisors said you were here on business.
Yes, that is true.
business have you come back for, if not to see your family?
Well, I was threatened with death.
By who?
A man of my own talents by the name of Saro Kaldan.
He has a look on his face of mixed shock and anger. And then it passes back to his stoic expression.
And so he had almost ambushed me. I went to his office because he required me to go there. I don't know, he called me there. And he had manufactured a weapon like mine. And I was shot multiple times. He had brought me to the brink of death and sent me back here to destroy my papers on all my research because he said it might be used for the wrong purposes.
He's quiet for a moment, and he stops walking.
Okay, I guess I'll stop with him then.
It's a very long pause.
Your family has missed you. I do hope that you spend time with your mother and sister.
Yes, I hope I can too, and I definitely missed the family as well.
But do what you must while you're here.
Yeah, I really hope I can find a way out around this, because that's a lot of work down the drain.
Sorrow Kuldon is a very powerful man.
Yes.
Your workshop is still as it was. Go to it if you must. I have business that needs attending to.
Alright, and I do have another request, if it's not too much to ask, seeing as I just came back.
If it's about those that you brought with you, they will be questioned thoroughly before they will be released, if at all.
Okay, just keep into consideration that yes, please do not execute them or anything.
He walks off.
I'm gonna I'm gonna start walking to my workshop, kind of nervous looking at that, at the fact they didn't respond.
You go to your workshop. There is no handle. Well, rather, there is a handle, but it's locked and there is no keyhole. There is an indention where you place your signet ring and turn, and the doorknob turns with it. And your workshop is exactly how you left it. Bookshelves wall to wall, with tomes and books, scattered scrolls, scattered all over the place. A long birchwood table with an ornate matching chair at the other side of the room. Tools are scattered across multiple large parchments, laid on top of each other with a thin layer of dust over absolutely everything. Most things seem to be undisturbed and have sat still long enough to gather said dust. Turning the scattered tools in the specific manner of the way that you had designed it causes the table to move to either side, kind of opening in half as the floor kind of moves aside with a as stone scrapes against stone, and a marble pillar begins to rise up with a chest on it, the security measures that you had taken to hide your blueprints.
Mm-hmm.
And as it rises up, it has a similar locking mechanism to that of the door to the workshop, and you press your signet ring to it.
Mm-hmm.
Or rather, you press your signet ring to it to open it. What do you want to do after you've already opened all the stuff?
Okay, so I'm guessing there's the blueprints inside then? You know?
Well, like, you're on the other side of the room. Like, you've turned the tools that were scattered, and you're kind of in the middle of the room right now.
Okay. Well, past all those security measures. Is there any, like, blank parchment and something to write with in here?
Yeah, there's some on the table.
Okay.
The ink is completely dried, though,
Oh.
so you can't technically write.
Hmm. Yeah, that's...
There's charcoal stone, though. You could scrape.
I was gonna say, I'll use the charcoal. Why not? I'm going to get my blueprints.
So you're gonna open up the chest?
Yes.
So you press your signet ring to the chest, and you open it up. It's completely covered with dust. It is empty.
Oh.
And the last thing you hear is the sound of a thunder cannon being fired as the bolts fly into your back.
Oh.
And that's where we're going to end tonight's episode.
Wow. Oh, that was an emotional joyride right there.
Well, that's the end of episode 10. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and we'll see you next time.
See ya.